Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Purple Sector 2021 Season Awards Show. What an absolutely insane season we had, arguably the greatest ever. It was a year of big wrecks, big egos, and even bigger controversies. But it's time now to recap the greatest moments from last year, so slip into your tuxedo, or your cocktail dress, and get to fixing yourself a drink. While you do that, allow me to introduce the two best people on the planet to break down the year in F1. Your hosts for the evening, Moot and Rye Guy. Enjoy the show.
Wow. Oh, man. Great to be up here on stage, Rye Guy.
Unbelievable.
What a great intro, too.
I know.
I had to fight back chuckling into the mic
What
during
a
the
turnout.
entire thing.
Another incredible turnout.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear the crowd roaring there. Love that all the seat fillers showed up.
Yeah, COVID is winding down. It's twice the people as last year.
Yeah, make sure your coolers are iced down. Make sure your ice bucket is loaded up for whatever cocktail you're making if you're not going with something out of the cooler, because this is the 2021 Purple Sector Awards. We have so much to get into, Ryan. The most insane season, I think, that we've certainly ever seen in our lifetime, cover to cover, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to top this season.
Yeah, and we're just excited to get into it all. We've got all the categories here lined up. They'll be presented by, what are the names again of our gracious presenters?
That was Matthew who let us in there. That's our
Okay.
MC.
Yeah, so thanks to Matthew for emceeing this year, the 2021 Purple Sector Awards. Right, guy, everyone remember, hit us up at 904-8-PURPLE. That's 904-878-7753 with any thoughts in general or on the award show here. And also slide into our DMs at Purple Sector Pod on social media to weigh in on basically who goes home with the hardware and who doesn't here, who gets the sector.
Right, and I'm totally expecting some complaints because no matter how many categories we made this year, we're never going to be able to touch on everything that happened.
Yeah, that's what...
Just so much stuff happened this season.
Yeah, that's what you realize going back through it all. And it's like having children, right? It's hard to pick just which one you love the most. You know?
Sure.
And some of these categories for sure, well, some are best, some are worse, but it's always hard to narrow it down to just one because you start remembering, oh, wait, how did I forget about this race earlier in the year?
Yeah.
It feels like you're looking back on like a decade of Formula One when you look at just race by race last year.
Yeah, this season took years off my life, stress-wise, everything. Just such an anxiety-ridden season.
Yeah, but without further ado, I think we get into it here, right? Let's just start mowing through these categories.
Best Anthem, and the nominees are Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. If the drones and massive LED video boards weren't extravagant enough for you, the Saudis trotted out a full orchestra to perform a beautiful rendition of their anthem. Russian Grand Prix. If a live piano performance of the Russian national anthem doesn't get you pumped for a race, then a dancing ballerina on top of the piano will, which is what the crazy Russians did this year. Absolutely stunning stuff. Austrian Grand Prix. The Austrians had the nerve to trot out a heavy metal band, in front of the FIA stiffs, and blast a rock version of their national anthem that was akin to the band in Mad Max Fury Road. Hell yeah, Austria.
Stout.
I mean, that's right off the bat. That's a tough choice.
Stout lineup there of nominees. And Ryan, this is really the first time the anthem is where a lot of these circuits and countries are really trying to separate themselves from the others, right? The anthem has taken on its own life here in recent seasons.
Yes.
I mean, had to be a category this year after what we saw in 2021.
Absolutely. It seems like every year the theater of F1 just gets bigger and bigger.
Agreed.
Each race is, the tourism board just has their hands all over it, and they're like, "Look, we got to get a piano, we got to get a ballerina, we got to get a heavy metal band."
Yeah, I mean, some of the logistics about getting some of that equipment and everything for the anthems.
Oh yeah,
has to be even more difficult than some of the things they're doing for the race.
There's just so much to talk about in F1, and this is the start. The anthems.
So Ryan, you have the envelope here. You ready?
So the winner for Best Anthem goes to Austria and the heavy metal band.
Yeah. The nerve. I like how his commentary said they had the nerve to trot out a rock band in front of the F1 stiffs.
Well, I mean, you remember how awkward that was. You had Jean Todt, the FIA president, and all the FIA wigs standing there, and they were just not reacting at all to the fact that there was like a heavy metal band thrashing in their face. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to cool everyone out, you know? Calm down the stiffs, have them loosen their suspenders a little bit, and just enjoy the race.
It was classic. I feel like Russia kind of got snubbed, though, because the ballerina on the piano was classic.
That raised the bar, because we've seen the piano get trotted out there for some classical pianists for other anthems, but they were throwing...
Yeah, Brazil did that.
Right. And then they're throwing some ballerina on the top of a spinning piano.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, they have to feel like they've been snubbed here, all the Russian promoters for that race.
Yeah, I mean, Russia's just a long line of getting snubbed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't beat the rock band basically spitting in in the big wigs' faces there.
Yep.
So, Rye Guy, now we move on to worst helmet design.
Ooh.
Worst helmet design. And the nominees are Valtteri Bottas, Brazil. When Valtteri's girlfriend isn't battling Twitter trolls on his behalf, she is scouring Shutterfly for helmet clip art. This design was an awful vomit of coffee bean bags and coffee cliches against a blue background, making them tough to see. Yuki Tsunoda, United States. Yuki decided to celebrate a trip to Texas by busting out a fall foliage design with autumn leaves while the race was run beneath the scorching Texas sun. Lance Stroll, United States. Larry Stroll tried to make fans buy Aston Martin shitcoins to vote on Lance's helmet design. Lance ended up going with the worst of the three, with the Galaxy design outvoting a SpaceX helmet and lunar landscape. George Russell, Abu Dhabi. George Russell decided to end his Williams career by covering a white helmet with handwritten thank you notes to him from members of the team. It sounds sweet on paper but looks very egotistical in a helmet.
Yeah, a real murderer's row of bad helmet designs.
That's a packed field, first of all.
By the way, the house band here for the Purple Sector Award
Unbelievable.
Show, they always bring it, but they won't even let us get to it after each award. They just start really ramping things up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the house band's incredible. I love these show tunes.
Yeah, every instrument you could ever imagine. Soon you're going to see Formula One anthems going back to the previous award, you know, borrowing our house band to put on a show.
Yeah.
Let's just award the sector first, and then we'll break down all the things. So the sector for worst helmet design goes to Valtteri Bottas, Brazil,
man.
the coffee stock image helmet. I think that's a worthy, I guess, loser for worst helmet design.
Can I be honest here?
Always. Honesty is appreciated here.
In hindsight, you could have nominated just Valtteri Bottas nominations because his girlfriend designed multiple helmets this year, and it came to light late in the season that she was just buying stock art off websites and just copying and pasting it onto his helmet. I feel like he should have been all the nominations, Valtteri.
Yeah.
Is that harsh?
I think so, because last year, remember, he got burned in the Purple Sector Awards, where he was the only nominee multiple times for worst drive.
For worst
right?
drive? Well, it's kind of his bit.
Yeah, it is sort of his bit. But he takes home the sector for worst helmet design.
Nothing to be ashamed about.
No. I mean, you're going home with a sector one way or another, right?
Yeah, if you get a sector, you go home happy.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you would think the added shame of Larry Stroll trying to push Aston Martin shitcoins as the host called it there.
I could have sworn that Larry and Aston Martin were going to win this award for the shitcoin angle.
Yeah, but Valtteri, fine, he won one race this year, right? And now he wins a sector. So he's got a little bit more hardware.
Yeah, I mean, I got to check. You know, cryptocurrency's been extremely volatile recently. I got to see what's going on with the Aston Martin token. Is it in the shitter?
It has to be.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Just like a lot of the drivers during the races this year. Right, guy, let's get into best drive.
Best Drive. And the nominees are Esteban Ocon. Hungarian Grand Prix. After an interesting strategy decision by Mercedes to have Lewis Hamilton not pit for the race restart, Esteban took hold of the lead and never relinquished it. With teammate Fernando Alonso's help holding off Lewis Hamilton, Esteban was finally able to taste the sweet champagne of his first F1 victory. Pierre Gasly. Azerbaijan Grand Prix. After a stunning qualifying on Saturday, Pierre started the calamitous Grand Prix in 4th place. Managing to keep his nose clean, Pierre made use of good strategy, and an epic wheel-to-wheel battle with Charles Leclerc in the final laps, to grab the final podium spot. George Russell. Belgian Grand Prix. George achieved his greatest career result, after what some people have dubbed, the Grand Prix that wasn't. The torrential downpour on Sunday can't take away from George's insane qualifying performance on Saturday, as he beat his future teammate Lewis Hamilton to P2, in a Williams, no less. What a great way to start their future rivalry. Daniel Ricciardo. Italian Grand Prix. After watching his younger and arguably better-looking teammate Lando Norris run riot on him all season, Daniel had finally had enough. He promptly overtook Lando in the sprint race on Saturday, and had an epic start to the Grand Prix which he saw through to a commanding victory. Thousands of shoeys happened that evening, and Daniel proved he's still got what it takes. Lewis Hamilton. Brazilian Grand Prix. With the championship hanging in the balance, and a brand new Mercedes engine fresh out of the factory and in the rear of his car, Lewis Hamilton went video game racing on everyone's asses. He could have started both races several laps down and still waltzed all over the field. It was a performance like nothing ever seen in F1 history, simply unstoppable. Max Verstappen. Russian Grand Prix. Carrying a massive engine penalty heading into Sunday, Max was sent to the back of the grid for the start. A man on a mission, Max knew he had 53 laps to recover as many places as he could, and he recovered nearly all of them. An impressive charge through the field saw him in the points fairly quickly, and when the rain opened up in the final laps, Max was ready to pounce on the opportunity with an incredible P2 finish from dead last.
I mean, this has got to be the toughest one yet.
Yeah, a lot of
opinion.
impressive drives and a diversity of drive. Like some guys coming from way back to salvage points, guys
Got the title contenders. You've got
shouldn't have guys who were on podiums, not even winning races. So yeah,
midfielders, title contenders.
Yeah, Ryan, you ready to hand this one out, and then we can see who takes it home and comment on that?
Yes, please hand me the envelope. Your winner for best drive, and this is going to be a shocker for some people, Esteban Ocon, Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a guy win their first race in Formula One, it's a special deal, and to win it that way, this had a lot of things going on. Him driving his balls off, driving perfectly, right? He had Vettel breathing on his neck, and this is when Vettel was
Lewis.
Quick.
And
right,
Lewis.
And then Lewis came charging at him late, but definitely very impressive. I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked if it had gone to anyone in that list. I mean, Lewis Hamilton's entire Brazil weekend stands out, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a reason all those were on this list as nominees. The other interesting thing, Ryan, the drive isn't, as noted by the nominees here, it's not just about Sunday, right? Because a drive is
the weekend.
Putting it all together. When George Russell, they roll the dice with the wet setup, he qualifies second, and the race basically never happens. That's still a great drive, right?
Yes.
Risks taken.
Oh, of course.
Quick driving and quali.
I will say, of all those nominees, okay, Moot, the two things I did not have on my bingo card heading into the season were, one, George Russell qualifying P2 in a Williams ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and two, Esteban Ocon winning a fucking race in that Alpine.
Yeah.
Insanity. Yeah.
Well, it was an insane season. It'll become more and more obvious as we revisit the rest of the races throughout these awards.
George Russell definitely comes in at a close second there for best drive.
Yeah, a lot of great rides.
The
thing is, go back and watch any race this year, and you'll think it could have been nominated for Best Grand Prix, Best Drive, and Worst Helmet for Valtteri Bottas.
Just think about how close. Just think about how close George was to actually getting pole. And if he had, he would have won the race as well.
Right. Crazy, man.
Because it wasn't a race.
Unbelievable season that was. And I'm sure it'll only get more crazy next year with the new regs.
I'm getting so euphoric just jogging the memory here, dude.
Yeah, the trip down memory lane here on the Purple Sector Awards is always fun.
Euphoric, nostalgic.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we go from best drive, Ryan, to one of the worst trophy.
This is one of your babies right here, man.
Yes, worst trophy.
Worst trophy, and the nominees are Silver and Gold, Bahrain Grand Prix. This large gold and silver trophy is very attractive, but putting a lid on top lands it on the worst list. Bahrain must be reminded that the best capability is drinkability. Wooden track outlines, Austrian and Styrian Grand Prix. The Red Bull Ring hosted 2 races again, but didn't charge up the robot delivery system this season. Also, back-to-back wooden trophies are uninspiring and need a refresh. Deformed Cup. Belgian Grand Prix. Belgium seemed to run out of time and metal, as these deformed cup trophies make a massive V, and are incapable of holding any liquid. Infinity Star Trophy. Turkish Grand Prix. We had high hopes for this radical Infinity Star design, but it ended up being too small. Also, if you tried to lose liquid off of it, you'd probably cut your lip.
Good to see the house band with the DJ there, scratching the record.
We needed to have a talk about whoever wrote the copy for those trophies this year.
Yeah, that was...
It's all about drinking.
The best capability is drinkability.
Is there nothing to a trophy aesthetic anymore? It's just, can you booze out of it?
Best capability is drinkability, right, guy? I
know that's one of our criteria, but goddamn, just stop talking about the physics of drinking.
So
I'm blown away by those nominees and the write-ups. I'm being honest.
The sector for worst trophy goes to the Deformed Cup from the Belgian Grand Prix.
Wow.
It's in line with that. She mentioned that it's all about liquid consumption out of it.
Let me guess. You can't drink out of it. That's why it won
worst
trophy.
I don't even think you could put a drop in there without it falling out of that weird, like melted, partially shaped metal. Can't call it a cup. It was just like a lotus flower that was falling. The petals are falling off.
It was like unzipped pants. Is what the trophy was.
Exactly. I know you, I think, had said you were shocked that the Turkish Grand Prix trophy, that infinity with the star, the crescent with the star kind of thing, was on here.
Yes, I'm on the committee, and I'm shocked that the committee voted as a whole to put the Turkish Grand Prix as a nominee for worst trophy. I thought that trophy was sick.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to look at the criteria, Ryan. You have to make some tough calls and, upset some people, hurt some feelings, while also making other people feel good,
I guess I just underestimated that the committee are a bunch of drunks that just want to drink out of every trophy.
The marching orders this year were clear when it came to evaluating trophies, right?
I think next year we should just rename the worst trophy and best trophy categories to worst and best drinking vessels, or...
Right. Best cocktail or beer mug. Cocktail glass or beer mug.
I don't know. I have issues with this award and the best trophy award.
Well, again, you can reach out, slide into our DMs or something, and lodge your complaint, or call us.
I'm sure some of
the
listeners will definitely side with me.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But before that, Ryan, this is one of the flagship.
This is also one of your babies.
Flagship categories here. Best helmet design.
Best helmet design. And the nominees are Antonio Giovinazzi, Monza. Antonio channeled his inner Easter bunny by covering his lid with pastel squares. A fun farewell in his last Formula One race in Italy. Daniel Ricciardo, United States. Ricciardo doubled down on driving Dale Earnhardt's Wrangler NASCAR by donning a replica of the Intimidator's classic black helmet with lightning bolt accents. He even replicated the retro sponsor designs. Lewis Hamilton, Brazil. Lewis tweaked his beautiful purple helmet to include Brazilian flag colors, and it looked fantastic. He put on a show both on the track and on his head. Max Verstappen, Brazil. Max covered his helmet with crazy samba twizzlers in Brazilian colors. This helmet screamed carnival and was a fun departure from his standard design. Kimi Räikkönen. Abu Dhabi. Kimi paid homage to the helmet from his very first race. It was great to see the Iceman leave Formula One rocking the sharp blue helmet design he started with.
Wow. I mean, tough to pick a favorite there, Ryan. So we created this past season the Helmet on Helmet segment just because we like to get into a lot of helmet talk, both good and bad.
You're a helmet snob and your name is Helmut. It's a nice little thing we got going.
And so this is a big category near and dear to both our hearts for sure. Let's see. The sector for best helmet design goes to... My hands are kind of shaking. I can't even get this envelope open. It goes to Antonio Giovinazzi for his Monza pastel sort of random shape design helmet.
You've got to be kidding. I
think that's a big upset.
That's a huge upset.
I mean, I was loving Kimi Räikkönen, sort of the rethink of his initial helmet design when he first came in.
I had my money on Danny Rick.
I mean, Danny Rick, we should almost rename this category the Danny Rick Helmet of the Year or something.
Yeah, I believe he's won it 2 years in a row. This is, the streak is broken.
I think since we've done an award for best helmet, I think it's been a clean sweep for Danny Rick. But wow, Giovinazzi
it's a good send-off.
Scoops a sector on his way out of Formula One.
Yeah,
so
it's a good send-off to Antonio.
Yeah, happy for him. He gets a little hardware here, so best helmet to Antonio Giovinazzi. Congrats, young buck.
Yeah, nice guy, mediocre racer, great helmet designs, even greater hair.
Yeah.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
I'm very excited, just looking forward, Ryan. We like to look back, but we also look forward. We're basically cross-eyed, looking every direction here on Purple Sector, and I cannot wait to see the helmets coming up this season.
Let me ask you a question, okay? If you were a driver, okay, and you were in studio to listen in on these awards and you were up for some of them, which one, again, as a driver, would be your most coveted one to win? If you could win...
Any of our awards that we have on the docket here?
No driver can win Best Anthem, at least not this year, but if you were a driver, you could win Best Drive, Best Helmet Design. Those are basically the only two you can win as a driver.
You're a part of Best Grand Prix.
Oh, sorry. Best Drive, Worst Drive, and Best Helmet Design or Worst Helmet Design. If you had to come in here as a driver and could win one, which one would you want to win the most? Just for the bragging rights.
I mean, drive is impressive, but you probably got a trophy for Best Drive, so...
Yeah.
I think Best Helmet is the trophy you're presenting.
I agree. And Best Drive is that it still involves a large amount of teamwork. Right? But best Helmet is like the culmination of your personality on your lid.
Yeah, and if it's Valtteri Bottas, it's also the expression of your partner, your girlfriend, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of people do have input on these helmet designs, both good and bad, right? A lot of times it's they take like writing from other people, they take stock images from the internet, they take their old helmets or other drivers' old helmets in Formula One history, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of inspiration, a lot of thought, a lot of effort. So yeah, I think if you're a driver sitting here in the studio with us,
Best Helmet Design is the golden
is the one you want. So next year, if any drivers on the grid, any past drivers in Formula One want to come to the Purple Sector Awards and sit in and see who walks home with Best Helmet Design, they could feel free to do so.
Yeah, that's like Best Actor.
Yeah, Best Actor, Best Picture.
No, Best Actor. Best Actor.
True. Best...
or Actress. Best Actress, Best Actor.
Right.
The greatest individual
Best
award.
Helmet. Really a big one to take home. So congratulations, Giovinazzi. Good to see him scoop something on the way out.
That's one of the bigger upsets in the award show history.
That's huge. That came out of left field. Yeah. So, Ragai, we go from Best Helmet to Best Grand Prix. This is almost like going to Best Motion Picture.
This is a big one. This is a juicy one.
Best Grand Prix. And the nominees are British Grand Prix. Silverstone brought us the first F1 sprint weekend, the Jensen Button Bang Bus, and decorative wreaths for the top three. The gloves came off on Sunday and set the stage for arguably the craziest championship battle ever, as Lewis sent Max into the wall at insane speed. We were also treated to footage of good guy Vettel picking up garbage in the grandstands. Hungarian Grand Prix. Yes. Wet race. Oh no. Bottas has taken out all the frontrunners. After the chaotic start, we got to see Hamilton restart the race by himself, Ocon hold off Vettel with pristine driving, and Alonso duel Hamilton to secure the victory for his teammate. Italian Grand Prix. Ricciardo beats Max to the first corner and rides off into the sunset, but plenty of mayhem would happen behind him when Max climbed onto Lewis's car, dragging them both into the gravel. McLaren went on to earn a 1-2 finish and gave us an epic shoey-filled podium with a Zach Brown wet t-shirt contest. Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku always brings the action, but the tires didn't this time. Max and Lance both had tire failures, which set up an epic restart late in the race. Hamilton looked like he was going to leapfrog Checo to win the race, until brake magic sent him off at turn 1. Pierre Gasly battled Leclerc to join Perez and Vettel on the podium. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Saudi Arabia gave us a festival of speed, fireworks, drones, safety cars, rose water, and red flags. It also gave us a taste of the chaos that would come in Abu Dhabi from Michael Masi and the stewards, as Verstappen and Hamilton played DRS games and eventually came together.
Wow. I just want to say, if you're walking to or from the bathroom, please tip the house band. They are on fire tonight.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Woo!
And it's the diversity of what they can play, right?
Oh, they can
They're
play anything.
scratching records, they're playing classical, they're tickling the ivory, they're hitting the horns, you know?
They can do it all, man. They're the house band.
So, right, guy, just some great Grand Prix. That just gives you a sliver of a memory of what last season was all about, right?
Yeah. Let's find out the winner, and then let's just discuss.
The sector for Best Grand Prix goes to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, right, guy.
That's another upset.
I think, yeah, I wonder if maybe the voters, there was a little recency bias, right? That was the most recent nominee. It was the second to last race last year, and it seems like that was it was fresh in their memories. I mean, I could see it, right?
I don't know.
It was one of the craziest races I've ever watched. Like,
I would agree.
Our heads were exploding. Like, you had the front runners dueling on almost equal points to win the driver's title with one race after this one, the Saudi Grand Prix. They're like ramming into each other, hitting blocking on DRS.
So,
they're forcing Massi's hand where he has to do something, but they were all so reluctant to, and it really set the table for the crazy finish to the season. Yeah,
the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix was, in fact, a street race, right?
The season in a nutshell, really, when you think about it.
Right, but it was a street race, but what it felt like was an illegal street race.
Yeah.
It was literally guys wrecking each other. I mean,
it was like the early Fast and Furious movies, not like the recent ones, the old ones where they would meet in the warehouses in the back alleys and do their illegal racing.
Before Dom Toretto went global and he was just stealing DVD players off the back of trucks and shit.
Yeah, this was Fast and Furious Jeddah, you know?
yeah, exactly. No, the race was insane. I had to like wash my mouth out after it to like come back to reality.
Yeah, it was sort of.
It was a dirty race.
Yeah, you didn't know what you just saw. It was sort of like.
Not because of the drivers, though. It was because of the stewards and Masi. There was so much confusion.
Yeah.
It opened up the door for all this fuckery.
A lot of head scratching, a lot of wondering what the hell is going to happen. And then not only, Ryan, was that race crazy, it put us on pins and needles all the way into the final race at Abu Dhabi because we were like, now we know it's going to be a shit show with the stewards and with Red Bull and Mercedes trying to push each other's
100%. And that's another prediction we nailed is we just said buckle up because the final race will be a mess because of Masi. I just want to say, like, that was only, 4 or 5 nominees, but truly there was no, like, really mind-numbing, boring race this season. And that's rare in F1. I mean, the entire season was littered with good races, in my opinion. So just narrowing it down to 4 or 5 was a challenge.
Yeah, And there wouldn't even be enough nominees to have a worse Grand Prix, right?
No,
because every race had at least a handful of craziness.
Even the very few races where like Lewis ran away with it or Max ran away with it, everything that happened behind them was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Great stuff. And some of those nominees, Ryan, it was also about the after effects, right? We had that epic podium in Monza when McLaren had the 1-2.
Yep.
We've got the wet t-shirt contest with Zach Brown up there. Everybody doing shoeies. I mean, it's just fantastic when you get that podium action. Zach
Brown's nipples were popping. It was great.
Yeah.
Through his shirt.
They always do, those diamond cutters he's got. so right, let's get into the next one here. This is also fun. Everyone knows we love our helmet designs. We also love our liveries.
Best Livery, and the nominees are McLaren, Monaco Grand Prix. Zach Brown's band broke out the orange and powder blue in Monaco, with a beautiful Gulf oil throwback livery. It was perfectly timed, as Lando Norris finished third and got on the royal podium. Alfa Romeo, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. With both of their drivers leaving the team at the end of the season, Alfa Romeo's livery was adorned with farewell messages to both Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi. Alpine, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. With some green accents, and Fernando Alonso's trademark L plan printed on the rear wing, it was nice to see the Alpine boys have a little fun with the livery to end the season. McLaren, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. McLaren had a vibrant display in the final race of the season, with some colorful patterns running along the side pods and tail fin. Red Bull, Turkish Grand Prix. For a team that rarely changes anything with their livery, Red Bull went all out in Turkey, with a beautiful tribute to Honda. Even though Honda may not be leaving F1 after all, the clean and crisp white livery was a dope tribute to the Japanese engine manufacturers. Arigato Honda.
We love liveries. We love helmet designs. This is a big category here, Ryan.
Yeah, and this is an increasing trend. We're getting more special liveries, one-off liveries every year now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of anniversaries. We always joke about the numerology of Formula One. People remember in recent years.
Yeah.
Ferrari is always doing something weird.
Right. Plus, F1 teams just love patting themselves on the back whenever they can.
Yes. So, without further ado, Rye Guy, you're presenting here the best livery. The sector for best livery goes to...
Oh, wow. It's Red Bull with their white Honda tribute livery from Turkey.
That was a gorgeous.
The
fun part about it, Ryan, is it's a complete photo negative reverse of their standard livery, right? Not just putting a little word on it or something like some of the other liveries on this list.
Yeah, plus like they just said in the clip, Red Bull never changes their livery. So for any of all the teams to do something with their livery, Red Bull is the biggest deal.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked. You had some shock in some other awards with who ended up winning earlier in the show. I'm shocked that the Gulf Oil McLaren livery from Monaco didn't win this. I think the issue was that it just didn't pop as much on TV as it did in, obviously, as we always mention, the sort of stock factory photos.
It was definitely a fun novelty, but I think they didn't nail the colors. It wasn't blue enough for starters. That robin's egg blue, the blue looked gray as fuck on TV.
Yeah, and the gear outshone the livery itself because the McLaren Gulf Oil gear was actually great coloring.
That's why McLaren does it, because whatever it costs to paint that car, I guarantee you they made it up in merch sales.
Oh, way more back. They probably make enough money to fund their whole season when they start printing Gulf Oil gear.
Oh yeah, people were buying $180 hoodies, $60 hats, you name it. Just easy money.
Yeah. So Ryan, earlier in the show, worst trophy was given out to that deformed cup in Belgium, which couldn't hold any liquid. Sets the table now, Ryan, for best trophy.
Yeah.
This is another big kahuna here in the Purple Sector Awards.
Best Trophy, and the nominees are Lightning Bolt Trophy, Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Imola has given us crazy designs in recent seasons, and the Silver Lightning Bolt Trophy was shocking hardware. What it loses by not being drinkable, it makes up for in style points. Louis Vuitton Trophy Trunk. Monaco Grand Prix. The Prince of Monaco amped things up by presenting the first place trophy in a gorgeous Louis Vuitton travel case. Extra points for only giving the winner the Louis. Gorilla Trophies. French Grand Prix. The Gorilla Trophies still get us excited, and they were even more massive this season with a gargantuan pedestal base. Massive recycled glass cup trophy. Dutch Grand Prix. Sponsor trophies struggle to get nominated in this category, but Heineken would not be denied with this humongous recycled green glass cup. Bottoms up. Dual Exhaust Trophy. Qatar Grand Prix. This dual exhaust redline trophy is a drinker's delight. Double Shambong and cocktail mixology options make it a strong contender for best trophy. Date Palm Cup Trophy. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Golden date palm fronds adorn the top of this tubular trophy. It allows for drinkability, but we worry that the holes in the fronds would make a mess.
Calling a trophy a drinker's delight. A lot of drinkable trophies in this. Drinker's delight.
I'm crying.
Man, a powerhouse of nominees.
As I close my eyes and just listen to the nominees, I'm just laughing because it's the only trophy, literally, between worst trophy nominees and best trophy nominees that doesn't mention drinkability is Monaco. That's it. That's the only one.
The Gorillas. They didn't mention it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
The Monaco trunk, Louis Vuitton trunk, and the French Grand Prix Gorillas.
Drinker's delight.
I'm losing my mind here.
Unbelievable.
The committee needs to go to AA. All they think about is trophy or drinking with trophies.
Let's see who takes this one home.
I'm laughing so hard right now.
The sector for best trophy goes to the huge recycled glass, a drinker's delight from the Dutch Grand Prix.
Oh my God.
Clearly they're influenced, Ryan, by just the sheer size of this thing. You could get it's basically like a half keg.
You know what?
You could fit into this thing.
Everyone knows what happened this year. Big Alcohol bought the awards. They bought them.
Heineken clearly bought the awards because you have a Heineken sponsored trophy. Granted, it was a departure from the terrible Star Tubes, but the huge recycled glass trophy from the Dutch Grand Prix takes home the sector.
Yeah, congrats, Heineken.
Wow, that was an intense.
How many times was the word drinkability mentioned in both best trophy and worst trophy?
A drinker's delight. Oh,
Jesus
my God.
Christ.
Wow, that's a tough category.
God.
Ryan, I feel like
I'm fucking crying and snotting. I'm laughing so hard.
I feel like the Gorilla trophies from the French Grand Prix, they had a run almost similar to Danny Ricciardo when it comes to best helmet in the best trophy category. They're always nominated. They compete hard, but clearly the lack of drinkability did in the Gorillas this year.
They gotta come up with something at the French Grand Prix next year. Maybe put 2 pint glasses in each hand.
Have him holding a beer bong funnel or something, and you might have a shot at best trophy.
No, we're gonna
next year on the Purple Sector.
We're gonna revisit the criteria next year. Can't be all about. I love how all the nominees for best and worst, like even if you're nominated for worst, you're still drinkable somewhat.
Right. You can still fuck it up that badly that even though you check the drinkability box, you could end up on the worst trophy list. But
incredible stuff.
Cheers to the Dutch Grand Prix, massive Heineken recycled cup trophy.
I mean, to be fair, the Dutch Grand Prix was the party Grand Prix of the season.
And the trophy does look spectacular. Remember when we saw the teaser, we were like, I don't know about this thing. But then when you saw the actual size of it.
You could wash a baby in it.
Yeah, I think we joked about that in our Grand recap of that race, that you could bathe a very big baby in that thing if you want to.
You could bathe
Until they're about 8 years old, they'd probably still fit in it.
Yeah, you could bathe the Dutch baby in beer in that trophy.
Yeah. So, right, guy, worst drive. This is the final actual sector.
This is my
out.
personal favorite category right here. It's always fun.
Yes. Worst drive time.
Worst drive. And the nominees are George Russell and Valtteri Bottas. Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. In the tricky weather conditions of Imola this year, George Russell's feast was truly Valtteri Bottas's famine, as the young Brit was poised to overtake Valtteri around the outside before they both wrecked hard, very hard. The only thing harder were the words they exchanged after the wreck. Valtteri called George a cunt, and George called Valtteri a prick. In the end, George got the last laugh by taking Valtteri's job, but we have a feeling they will meet again. Charles Leclerc. Monaco Grand Prix. The stage was set for Charles, the boy from Monaco, his home Grand Prix. The race that every driver dreams of winning. It was looking like the dream was coming true. Pole position, 2, wreck into the barrier, 2, did not start the race. Oh, and his teammate Carlos Sainz took P2 on the podium in his absence. Some dreams simply become nightmares. Lewis Hamilton. Monaco Grand Prix. In a season where Lewis Hamilton eclipsed 100 career pole positions and 100 career wins, a feat unmatched by any other driver in history, you wouldn't expect to see him scratching and clawing his way into P7 in Monaco during qualifying. Even worse, you wouldn't expect him to remain in P7 all race, and get overtaken by Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez in the process. Well, that's exactly what happened to the all-time great. Mercedes. Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Arguably, this was the worst race weekend for the Mercedes F1 team in the V6 turbo hybrid era. They've had double DNFs in the past, but everything pales in comparison to both Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas not only classifying outside of the points, but also finishing behind the infamously bad Nikita Mazepin. Never, ever, forget the day that Nikita beat Lewis and Valtteri.
Wow, strong finish from the house band there. They're putting on a show.
Yeah, tip your glasses, people.
Yeah, unbelievable. Pour some out and
Or
pour another one.
Tip your vessels with drinkability.
Yeah, drinker's delight. Right, guy, worst drive. Struggling over there, are you?
Yeah, well, this is a heavy award. All right, I can't say I disagree with the committee here. Mercedes at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, worst drive.
Yeah, it could have been one of the best. The fact that Hamilton was about to win a race that Max seemed to be leading cover to cover before the blowout, right? And then on that restart, we had the brake magic and obviously Bottas doing Bottas things. And as they mentioned in the breakdown, right, finished behind even Nikita Mazepin in this race after the restart.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, and I don't think I should have thought of this earlier, it's quite possible that no one in the history of F1 has ever gone from first to dead last. Not dead last, like 17th or wherever he finished in 2 laps like that. He was leading heading into that corner, and then he finished like 16th or 17th.
It takes crazy circumstances for that to happen.
In 2 laps.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's brake magic for you. Brake magic actually popped up a few times last season.
He finished 15th, so he was ahead of Checo heading into turn 1 with 2 laps to go, and he finished 15th. It was 2 or 3 laps, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Just a fucking insane race. Also, Valtteri was just like nowhere all race.
Yes, Valtteri nowhere. Some of that, the commentary there from the presenter was pretty intense too. But yeah, wow, Mercedes taking home a sector. You wouldn't have thought it would be for worst drive, but Toto Wolff coming up to accept a sector for worst drive this season.
You know, looking back on it, this is kind of why the season was so good, right? So Mercedes definitely threw up on themselves. Mercedes and Lewis at points in the season threw up on themselves, right? Conversely, Max had a bunch of misfortune. And that's why it was close.
A lot of people throwing up left and right.
In crafting the review show and the season awards, when you do look back, there were so many... it's amazing that Mercedes was still in it somehow because they made so many errors. So many errors.
Yeah, it was a tale of many seasons because it felt it would be race by race or a couple of races, and it felt like all the fortunes had swung the other direction, either for Mercedes and Lewis or for Max and Red Bull. So it was a seesaw, a yo-yo, whatever you want to call it, a tug-of-war all season, and it finished with mayhem, with mossy mayhem.
You just knew it was a different season, though, when you see stuff like Max, his tire blowing out with 15 laps to go, and then that just puts it on a platter for Lewis. And then Lewis fucks up going into turn one. It's just so un-Lewis-like to do that.
Yeah.
Literally, your competitor is handing you the championship in that moment, and you give it right back. It was a very crazy season.
Yeah, a crazy season. Also giving us a crazy 2021 Purple Sector Award show because, that's the only thing that happens when you have a crazy season like that. The awards get nuts. Ryan, we have to touch on just a couple of extra awards that were handed out off camera here while the mics weren't hot to some winners here. A sector, Ryan, for best guest on the podcast was given out. It actually went to both Molly Taylor and Johan Kristofferson of Rosberg Extreme Racing in Extreme E, and they ended up being champions.
Yeah, and we called it, and we had them on the show. It's awesome.
Yeah, if you guys didn't hear those interviews, go back into our catalog and find the interviews with Molly Taylor and Johan Kristofferson. Fun stuff. We got to wake up under the cover of darkness, slip into the studio because they were all over the eastern part of the world from us, or some of it's so close it's almost western. They
were doing their media day started early in Europe, so we had to get to the studio at 3:30, 4 a.m.
Early, but
it was so early.
Yeah, what a chat with them, and they've gone on to win the inaugural season of Extreme E. So, congrats to Rosberg Extreme Racing, Molly Taylor, and Johan Kristofferson on that sector award.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Congrats on the championship. We know how to pick winners, Moot.
Yeah, and Rye Guy, we have to put a bow on the Purple Sector Fantasy League that was for 2021. A wild season. A shitload of races, so a ton of points.
Yeah, it was a grind. Please don't mention where I finished.
Yeah, we'll just do the podium in reverse order here. Third place on the podium, the shortest step on the podium, was actually me, Rye Guy, my team Nakami Mazepinko. I finished with 4,102 points for third place. So sniffing
you are the Valtteri Bottas of fantasy.
Sniffing the ass end of the podium in the Purple Sector Formula One Fantasy League. Second place, Ryan Nikhil, team named The Day After Ricardo.
I love it.
4,241.5 points. There were half points because of that craziness in Belgium in fantasy as well.
It's tight at the top, huh?
Yeah, pretty close. I was about 129 back from second place. And first place, winning by only 32 points, Ryan.
That's
first
wild.
place went to Neo from the Matrix, maybe. The team name was Speedy Racing Team 1, 4,273.5 points. Impressive stuff. A fun season. I'm happy to just be on the podium spraying the sparkling wine, the Ferrari Trento, with those other competitors in our fantasy league. So, Neo, be sure to hit us up. Slide into our DMs at Purple Sector Pod on social media or 904-8-PURPLE. That's 904-878-7753. Hit us up there with a voicemail or a text to claim the Purple Sector prize pack for emerging on the top step of the Purple Sector Formula One Fantasy League, right, guy?
Yeah, or just DM us on social media. Did you mention that?
Yeah, I mentioned that as well. A million ways you can stalk us and
get that swag, Neo.
Get involved. Swag. Yeah, and everyone get ready because before you know it, you're going to blink and the next season of fantasy is going to be ripping and roaring. So start doing your research and get ready for the next season, 2022's Formula One Fantasy with Purple Sector. Ryan, the last kind of thing we like to...
This is the creme.
Yeah.
De la creme.
It's more of a fun trip down memory lane. We love radio transmissions from the Sky guys and from the drivers. And it's hard to just pick one because we want to hear them all again. So we just have the radio medley from last season.
Oh, yeah.
Best radio transmission, and the nominees are...
What a fucking cunt.
What the fuck was he doing? Honestly, is he a fucking prick or what?
No, it's fucking paradise, like traffic paradise. What is this one?
And good braking turn 10 with the others.
You always say late. It's literally I'm in the entry, you know.
Yuki, calm down. Okay, we'll improve for the next. It's fine.
That was a cracker.
Can I go to the toilet? Do I have time?
If you're desperate, yes, I would prefer you didn't. There's only 16 minutes left.
Yuki, we need to push harder on tires. They are looking good now. We need to open the gap to Vettel. You can push harder. Push flat out.
Shut up!
Give it some beans.
Yeah, sort of. I have this when a driver lifts sky, it sort of starts going. Sort of. It die. You lose acceleration down the straight.
Say that again.
What the fuck? I cannot believe it.
This gentleman's agreement gets broken every single week.
Come on, this guy's a fucking dickhead. Get out of the fucking way.
We are sorry, guys. That's it. So sorry.
All okay, Yuki? Stroll is coming
Oh,
behind.
fucking sorry. If you can give me a couple of sausages. Some sausages for me, for the barbecue. Is the race still gonna last 2 hours or no? It's
Are you thinking about your dinner?
On one side, I'm glad I went to the toilet. The one I went to, someone had dropped a crazy bomb in there. It was the worst thing ever.
The pros and cons of this.
It's gonna haunt me for life.
We are Hollandia. Oi!
Lance, you just need to press the OK button. OK button.
I pressed it!
You're pressing the pick confirm button.
The pick confirm button is the OK button, Brad. Valtteri, get those guys in front of you for points.
What a dickhead! I mean, seriously, what a dickhead!
Fuck them all. Valtteri, go and get him.
Tell Esteban to defend like a lion.
Come on, Valtteri, get these cars. Michael, this isn't right. Michael, no, Michael, that was so not right. Go ahead, Toto. You need to reinstate the lap before. That's not right. Toto? Yes. It's called a motor race, okay? Sorry? We went to car racing.
A lot of listeners will be happy, Ryan. We've had a lot of comments recently that they want more blue language, blue radio.
Well, you got it.
That was a shitload of it, to use some extra blue words there.
Yeah, 3 observations from that medley, okay? 1, Yuki Tsunoda dominated the radio this year. He dominated it.
Yeah, I think we've determined, because we don't want to just pick one radio transmission, we have to, award a sector to the king of the radio in 2021. Toto put up a strong fight, but Yuki, I think, is king of the radio for Purple Sector in 2021.
Yeah, it's very rare to hear somebody say, "I'm fucking sorry."
Yeah, and in their first year in Formula One, how silver-tongued he was, right? Unbelievable.
Just constantly giving tongue lashings over the radio.
Yeah, the guy put on a show there, and he was so candid and honest in all kinds of interviews and other pieces that were on television during the season.
Yeah.
Don't go changing, Yuki.
No, hell no.
If he goes to media training at the Helmut Marko camp in the offseason, I'm going to be upset if he's somehow polished now and not a hothead going into his second year.
Helmut Marko can't do media training. He says ridiculous things in the media.
Yeah.
So second observation, okay, is that it was the year of the bowel movement.
Yeah.
We had multiple radios.
Purple Sector was loving it this year.
Yeah, we had multiple radios. Lewis Hamilton was dropping dumps in Belgium, just ripping ankle grabbers in the bathroom.
Yeah. Pierre Gasly is eating sausages, so he's blowing up the can after that.
Yeah, and in Monaco, Lando had to take a quick piss. They said not enough time.
Yeah.
They probably thought he had to take a dump.
Yeah, a lot of people being called cunts, dickheads.
Yeah, that's the other one. So
dickhead was a popular word.
Observation number 3. I never knew that the Euros are so into using dickhead for a bad word.
Yeah, I feel like the sort of knee-jerk go-to here in the States is motherfucker, right? Dickhead seems to be the go-to over in Formula One as of last year.
Yeah, you hear it all the time. You heard it from Leclerc. You heard it from Russell. You heard it from
Vettel, right?
Vettel. There's a fourth guy I'm forgetting, but everyone says dickhead in Europe.
Very popular.
I never knew that dickhead was a popular curse word in Europe.
Yeah, either way, very fun to just relive all that radio. You forget some of it, and it still makes you chuckle, a lot of them.
Yeah, and by the way, the big upset was somebody calling somebody else a cunt, and it wasn't an Englishman.
Yeah.
It was Bottas.
Yeah, Valtteri wanted to go below the belt with that one.
Yeah. God, there's so much good radio in there. What a fucking
Unbelievable.
season.
Well, that's a great thing to go out on, Ryan. The radio mashup, the radio medley.
Incredible.
Yeah, and the sector for King of the Radio going to Yuki Tsunoda. Bright things from the youngster there on radio this past season.
Oh, I can't wait to see Yuki in action next year.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in, or I guess attending, the 2021 Purple Sector Awards.
That's true.
Yeah. Make sure you guys keep spreading the word about the show. Have them tune into these Purple Sector Awards. See which awards they agree or disagree with that we're giving out tonight. And, can't wait to get back on track with all you guys heading into what should be another crazy season of Formula One in 2022.
Things are going to start really ramping up here. Try to survive, testing, and then the first race.
Yep. All right, gang. Thanks for attending the 2021 Purple Sector Awards. What a fun show it was. Now, Ryan, it's time to start prepping and getting our nominees for the 2022 Purple Sector Awards as the season fast approaches.
Oh, yeah.
See y'all on the track.